What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, DN Duel Commentary, playing my Blue Jeans once again. Playing against Nicholas Flamel. I called him Nicholas Flames in one of my other videos. Apparently, it's a Harry Potter reference. I've only seen part of the first movie, so I don't know anything about it. You see I open with Yamato, Decree, Vanity's Emptiness, and I dump Hair into the graveyard. I've got Soul Charge, Crane, and another Decree in my hand. I was ranked #1 on DN like a few hours ago. And then I got off. I started watching some basketball, and I hopped on it for a second because I was trying to actually see if I could find anything interesting to record. I wasn't even planning on playing. And then I had dropped 2 spots to 3rd, and I was like, if I win one game, I'm gonna be ranked 1 again. So let's just go ahead and try that. All right, so that's how we got to this duel. You see, he opens up with Fire Hand, and to save my Yamato, I'm just gonna go ahead and target my Yamato with Hair, so he ends up taking a -1. He sets 3, so during the end phase, we're going to decree him, and now we're going to try and attack with both, then go in for Susanoo O during main phase 2. He uses Bottomless, and I assume he's going to chain MST at this point, which he does, so I'm fine with that. Had I actually got this Susanoo off, I probably would have went for another Yamato. If my Susanoo got 101, I wouldn't have cared because I had Soul Charge in my hand anyway. So it wouldn't have been like any big deal. He goes for Fiendish Chain, and I'm like, cool, I just got rid of all his back row. So he ends up scooping it up, which I really didn't see coming. I was like, really? He scooped? I didn't really see that. Now here's what's difficult about playing against his deck, and what's kind of it's starting to be kind of difficult in the format. In fact, NC's Best, who was on, I uploaded one of his duels, and I think he's currently 2nd on DN or 3rd, one of those. I leapfrogged him with this duel. But anyways, one of the things about playing against the hands, and it is extremely difficult because I know that this guy is playing Geargia. Like, don't get it twisted. Just because he didn't show me any Geargia, you know, in the first game, I know that Nicholas Flamel runs Geargia, so I have to side accordingly, and that's why I leave all my Veilers in, despite the fact that they're really, or I might leave 2 Veilers in, despite the fact that I don't like them against, you know, the hand decks because they're useless, but they're super clutch against Geargia. Now, here's one thing that I've been doing a lot lately. In game 2, if I'm going 2nd, I side my decrees out because I always, like, against every matchup in Yu-Gi-Oh, I bring in some traps because my trap count is so low in my main deck. I think I run, what, 3 decrees, 2 vanity, and warning. Okay, so I run 6 main deck traps. So I always bring in, you know, either black horns or debunks or shit like that. So if I'm not going first, then obviously I can't, you know, turn 1 decree you. So I side out my decrees a lot of times. So we open with a pretty decent hand. This hand is really good if he doesn't get to Geargia armor turn 1. He opens with Duality for Accelerator. See, I told you he was playing Geargia. He opens he dualities for Bottomless, Fire Hand, and Accelerator. And I actually told him, you know, like in the duel video I uploaded, I called you Nicholas Flame because I thought that was an exclamation point or an exclamation point. Like I didn't know that was an L. So I was like, okay, I guess it's not. So he takes Bottomless, he puts Accelerator and Fire Hand back in his deck, which means I'm trying to kind of bait out the Bottomless. Like I can't just summon Yamato and, you know, end up getting my Yamato Bottomless. I hate when that happens. So he opens with 3 in his back row and a set monster. Now I ask him if he has any response, and he doesn't take the bait. He lets the Hair get on board. So you see I get Yamato, Black Horn of Heaven, and Tinky. I'm gonna go for the Tinky because if nothing else, I mean, it gets me to Yamato, which I could have just gotten without the Tinky, but it thins my deck. I can, you know, potentially draw Lance, and then I can potentially draw Lance and, you know, go Tinky Bear. And it just dawned on me right here, I did not shuffle my deck. I am kind of bad about that. When I drew my next card, I thought about it, and I was like, didn't I just put this back? But yeah, it just dawned on me right there. I didn't actually shuffle my deck. That was not intentional, though. So, you know, I don't think I, like, tried to cheat him or anything like that. So you see my back row, I've got double debunk and Black Horn of Heaven. Now, when I first saw the double debunk, I was like, oh, fuck. I side decked 2 copies of these in, and then he doesn't play any hands, and now I'm just going to get shit on. And he special summons Accelerator, using the armor, and I think he's going to go into Gear Giant X because that makes the most sense. And we know that he has a Geargia arsenal in his hand too, so you know, I'm forced to Black Horn the Gear Giant X, but he still has arsenal in his hand, and I thought he was just going to summon arsenal and attack, and I was like, fuck, I'm just going to end up losing my hair for nothing, and he's going to get an armor. And you see he attacks with Fire Hand, and I'm like, great. I'm actually going to get some value out of these debunks that are just not really that good unless I'm playing them against this card. Alright, so you see during the damage step, he tries to use Fire Hand's effect, which I chain debunk. And not only do I get an open field, but he just essentially wasted his normal summon and his battle phase. So you see, I go for Tinky, and I drew the Yamato again. I didn't shuffle. It wasn't on purpose. And I had Tinky anyway, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And I'm going for Bear. I want to force out that bottomless. This will efficiently do it because he will essentially have to bottomless or give me a free Tinky. And you see, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to attack for 1700 and pass turn. And play is up to him. Now again, I thought that he would just go Geargia armor, summon, attack, and then, you know, pass play back to me. But maybe he was concerned about my back row being a warning or something. So you see, he summons Ice Hand. I keep looking at his graveyard. I'm kind of wanting him to attack. I'm trying to look like I don't have good answers when I actually do. You know, like the double debunk, who saw that coming? You know what I mean? I saw that in my hand, and I was like, that's awful, but it ends up working out. So I have Yamato, which I drew from the previous turn, and Yamato's just going to attack. And we should be able to get 800 damage from here. Or 800, 1800, 1900, excuse me, 1900. Because I've got Tinky on board. And then go in attack for 17. If both attacks go through, I'm probably just going to pass, dumping Turtle in the graveyard. I'm not going to exceed against 3 back row. Now he plays Fiendish Chain, and I kind of thought about going into an Exceed here, like blind MSTing one of the back row and then going into Susanoo O. But the fact that he had, what's it called? The fact that he had the fact that he was so adamant about using Fiendish Chain on Yamato, I was like, well, what answers can he have? I was like, all right, hopefully those two are, you know, MSTs or bluff. Now, they couldn't have been MSTs. He didn't MST the Tinky. I'm thinking, you know, maybe they're bluffs or something. And he ends up having Lightmare, and I'm like, fuck. Maybe I should have just I shouldn't have used it on the Fiendish Chain. I should have saved it for the freaking Lightmare, but you know, hindsight's 2020, so whatever. He essentially had a much better version of Fiendish Chain that works on everything. All right, so you see that he's going to go, he's going to summon Arsenal, which we already knew he had, and then he goes Accelerator, and I figured he would go into Gear Giant X. I was really hoping that he would attack into Yamato, because if I crane him, he doesn't have anything in the graveyard, and I'll probably just win. I don't know what his face down is. It can be probably either Blackhorn, or if it's not Blackhorn, I'm trying to think of something that he wouldn't have activated. You know what I mean? That he literally just sit on all game. It's either Blackhorn or it's another like side deck card, like another Light Mirror or something like that. Because you have to think, I've summoned a Yamato, I've attacked them twice, so it isn't an attack stopper. It isn't anything that, you know, works on a summon, i.e. it's not a torrential or something like that. Because when I summoned Yamato, he would have blasted me with the torrential. He would have ended up blowing up my hair and my Yamato. So I'm thinking that the face down would most likely be at the time Blackhorn of Heaven, or like a Light Mirror / D-Fissure / Macro, some shit like that. Alright, so you see he's really just contemplating this play. I was trying to think of what other card he would want to go into other than Gear Giant X. You know what I mean? I thought, okay, he can go into Diamond Direwolf, which would kill Yamato, and then it would force me into an Exceed. Like, let's say I didn't draw an Exceed. Okay, well, then Hair would die too. That would get both cards dead. But essentially, Gear Giant X can kind of do the same thing. Like, Gear Giant X is going to get him at least one search. He gets Arsenal. And Gear Giant X can run over Hair. And then, you know, you can attempt to run over Yamato. Now, his graveyard doesn't have anything in it that would actually make Gear Giant X trigger. So, I'm not in that bad of a position. You see that I drew Max C. At this point, it doesn't really make sense to just, I mean, I can go for the safe play and just attack him and crane. That doesn't do 2100. How much that does off the top? Let's see. I've got 36. That does 1300. So I'd still leave him with 800 life points. I'd have a monster on board, but I wouldn't be able to get rid of his guy. All I'd be able to do is max him. So I figure I'm just going to go for game, and I'm going to go 101. Either way, if his back row is a real card, he's going to have to burn it. But I figure the upside is much higher with the 101 play, because if this is some bullshit card, which it happens to be an MST, then I basically just win. So you see I just 101 his Gear Giant X, and then I attack for game, knowing that I still have max C to cover my mistakes. Thank you guys for watching, as always.